Hello, WorldCiv 106. I want to welcome you all to this class for the upcoming semester. We are going to be starting in a little bit over a week, and I just thought it would be good to kind of introduce myself, talk a little bit about the class. In the next several days, I will be posting announcements or sending messages with information that will help you know what to do in this class and how to do the assignments, okay? And I recognize that that's one of the biggest challenges of any class. If you have not had a class with me before, you're not sure what to expect. Excuse me. And so I want to make sure that that's going to be very, very clear for you. One thing that I want to point out right away. Last semester, I noticed that some students were relying strictly on their phone to do the class. The problem with that is that if you do an assignment, and let's say you didn't do the instructions correctly, and I give you a 0. So this happened to one of my students. He didn't notice a very, very, very important part of the instructions. And I said, you will get a 0 if you do it this way. And but what I did is as I wrote to him in the notes, you actually wrote a good paper. I mean, it's well written, and it just needs a few things fixed, and you get full points. But he wasn't seeing my comments because he was just using his phone. And for some reason, when you rely on your phone, like the phone will give you access to Canvas, but not all of the apps and information that you should have access to. So it becomes misleading. So the student went through several assignments of getting really bad grades, and me keep on trying to communicate with him to explain what he needs to do to fix it, which wasn't that much, and telling him, hey, you'll get full points. And then he just almost, it was very frustrating. It was a lot of unnecessary stress on this student because they didn't understand what was going on, because they weren't getting the information that I was communicating to them. Now, that's not really anybody's fault. You don't know, right? If you're just using your phone and Canvas is accessible there, you would think that they would make it so that you would be able to notice you're getting comments on your assignments. Well, whatever the case is, and maybe different phones do different things, I don't know. Technology can be a little tricky this way. The bottom line is that I'm always going to communicate with you. If you are having grades not turn out the way that you want, I'm never going to give you a bad grade without telling you what needs to be done to fix it for that exact paper or assignment or a future one. So instead of letting yourself go through a lot of unnecessary anxiety, if things start going in this class not the way that you think they should, and you're getting confused and your grades are not going well, just contact me. I promise you we will resolve this together. Okay, I promise. And one of the things that I make clear to my students, look, I know how tough this year has been. I know many of you don't even want to be doing the online set of classes. It's just this is now the only set of options you have. And I've had, this last semester, I had many going through that. Throughout all of my online teaching, I've had many students that were in the military. A lot going on is my point. Firemen, single parents, one mom that has 2 jobs and several kids by herself, or a dad going through the same thing. And so here's the point I'm trying to make. I am very aware that you have lives outside of this class, and that everything that's going on the outside affects how easy or not it is for you to deal with this class. It might be you only have a cell phone to work with. If you have circumstances like that, please communicate with me, and we'll try to see what we can do. The bottom line is, I'm always going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're a hard worker, and that when things are distracting you, that those are real things that are valid. Look, If somebody breaks up with you and your heart's into it, that's what you're going to be focused on. It's hard to focus on school when you're going through something like that. Here's my point. You don't need to contact me and give me all the gory details or really personal things of your life. If you tell me that you're just having a hard time and you need to work with me and we want to talk about some assignments that you didn't get to turn in, or you might have a difficulty turning in soon, that's all you need to tell me. It's not that I'm not interested in all the details of your personal life. It's just not necessary. That's my whole point, okay, for you to do that. Now, if this is something that's happening every assignment, we're going to have to get to the bottom of what's going on in terms of, is it sustainable for you to have this class? If you have any chronic problems that continually put you behind. And then we can discuss that too, okay? But the bottom line is, especially if this is not the normal thing, you tell me you're having a hard week, you communicate with me. It's really a very simple set of things that need to take place, okay? So I hope that that's understandable. I mentioned to most of my classes, I had my daughter full-time when she was very young, often when I was in school, and also just having to work 2 jobs and feed a minor, a child, right? Juggling childcare, all this stuff. So I'm very empathetic to all of this stuff. And what I'm hoping is that you are then going to feel comfortable enough to actually believe that this is a class that you can succeed in, even if the workload looks a little bit more than you were hoping for. As I mentioned to all my classes, many students always start off stressed, kind of thinking that this class is my classes it's going to have too much work because I have a lot of videos you have to watch and take notes on. And then you have to write a paper, and then there's discussions. And so you visually look at it from the beginning and you're just like, man, no. But I want to tell you, most of my students that have communicated to me that while it might start off looking and feeling this way, you will see that my classes are very consistent. I don't, what I want out of the papers is not tremendous. Essentially, all the assignments are going to be you looking at lectures that I give, and sometimes from other professors, and documentary clips. You're going to prove that you watch them through the notes. You're going to have a discussion about the content, and then you're going to reiterate back to me some of the things you learned. Not research papers. I'll get into that later on. I will tell you everything needed for information on the papers to make them, for you to get a solid grade. And so again, you're going to look at this and be like, whoa, can I handle it? Yes, you can. I promise you, because all the situations that I just talked about earlier, I've had students with all of that stuff going on in their backgrounds and their lives, and they still were able to get grades they wanted, even A's, okay? So I'm going to have your back, but this is college, so we're all going to work hard together, and we're going to reap the benefits of it, okay? Now, having said that, I'm just going to mention that this is World Civilization 106. We are going to be doing a course survey of the world. We are covering so much information, it's ridiculous, okay? Now look, if I had my choice, World Civ would be broken up into regions. Some schools do that. I'm not critiquing our school for doing it this way. I'm just simply saying some places have it set up where you do Asia and Southeast, like Far East and Southeast Asia. And then another class is, let's say, Middle East and North Africa. And the other one is Sub-Saharan Africa or Latin America, or that kind of stuff. But we're going to do all of it. Now, this would be really overwhelming if I'm going to make you memorize all of this stuff that you've never, ever been exposed to before. My class relies on no memorization. You have to work hard and get engaged with the material, and you're going to learn something about a world civilization that you never were exposed to, most likely. Now, I picked religion as the place to emphasize as a theme in this class. The reason why I picked religion is because if you are not religious, you still have a strong opinion about religion. If you are religious, you have a strong opinion about religion. It's a much more, an easier place for you to focus, being able to try to learn all this wide range of thoughts, than if I focused, let's say, on grain production throughout various civilizations, or just on the wars, or all that kind of stuff. So this is not about indoctrination. So I just want to make this very clear. If you are a evangelical Christian, fundamentalist in the sense that you just stick to the Bible and you're very much a Bible believer, you're a Salafi Muslim, somebody who really just is very, very religious and conservative in your views of Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, like I said, atheist. My goal is, this is not about indoctrinating you or to attack whatever position that you want to take. This is a secular class, though, that deals with the topics on a consensus view. So here's and you're going to hear me really qualify this a lot, okay? Look, I'm not always even going to tell you my opinion about certain things. I'm going to do a consensus view. So this is how the field works. Just like in law, right? When a court case is made, a lawyer makes a case and another lawyer, and then it's determined, the judge, or the jury, or how all that happens, a judgment is made on the case. It doesn't mean that that was always the correct view. It's just that's the consensus view that was made, and that's how it was solidified. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're going to start off with evolution, because we have to start somewhere. And you don't have to believe in evolution. Evolution, did I say evolution? Maybe some of you think it's evolution. Some of us it's evolution. We're going to start off with the scientific perspective of the beginnings of civilization, okay? I could start off with, in Genesis, Bereshit, in the beginning, okay? The gods creates the heavens and the earth. But that's not how every other holy book starts. So we're going to go with the textbook. And the textbook starts with physical anthropology and humans emerging in that way. You are learning what the scientific consensus view is about the origins of world civilization. And that's what you're going to articulate to me, which does not mean that I think that this is something that you have to believe in. Okay, so I want to make this very clear. When I cover ancient Israel, for example, historians have different views about some of the historical parts of the Bible than a fundamental, traditional believing Christian or Jewish person would have. You do not have to believe anything that's in this lecture. That's not what you're being asked to do. You are being exposed to secular historical viewpoints about the development of human civilization. The religion gets incorporated into that. And it's not meant to be an attack on religion. It's just that they play this role of skeptic on everything equally. But it's not how someone of faith operates. If you take a religious belief system, you believe that God directed it, set it up to be that way, and that's what it is, and that's real, and that's true, and there's no touching that. And I'm not messing with that. But I'm just simply saying, if you're religious, you don't feel bothered if that approach is done to another religion, right? We don't feel like we're attacking ancient Greek people if we try to dissect and understand their development of their gods. We're not doing it to demote the ancient Greeks' views of their gods. It's a secular historical approach. Now, what's the word secular mean? Look it up. You need to know that word, secular, okay? This is a secular institution. You're not in a private school. And so that's the approach that we're taking. So most of my students have told me, from all backgrounds, atheists to very religious, that they found sometimes some little bit challenges with some of the material that we've covered, but mainly they've really appreciated that it was nuanced, that I was not shoving anything down their throat, and that they were able to learn about what other people in the world think, feel, and believe, and the developments, the origins of those systems, in a way that actually was like, they didn't have to go to the religious temple or have like a study with somebody that's trying to convert them. They can just kind of take a bird's eye view, look and see, what's going on in the rest of the world. And I think that that's an amazing privilege that you're going to have here in this class, because you are really going to learn about Buddhism, Christianity, Islam. Did you know that Jesus is taught in the Muslim Quran? And we watch a documentary on the Muslim Jesus. No, I'm not trying to promote or tell you to I want you to be surprised, though. I want you to be like, whoa, this is what's going on. And I just remind folks, there's a scripture that says, to the Greeks I became a Greek, right? In other words, there was a missionary teacher that was saying, I have to know what other people believe to help me articulate what I believe. Now, I just pointed that out because I really, really don't want anybody to run away from this class that feels a little apprehensive. I want you all to get here. And I have so much more to say about it, and you're going to hear a lot of what I have to say about it in my class. So look, I'll end this kind of long announcement here. New Year's is tonight. I hope you have a good one. It's been a rough year. May the next year be better, and we will be in touch with each other.